this guy wrote me a comment in my comment section, and he writes, "Dear Harry, I've been on 4 dates with a woman and things were going well. We engaged in physical touch, such as holding hands, hugging, and kissing on the cheek, head, and hands. So it's good that that was happening. Ideally, she was initiating some of this and you were responding in kind, because you always want to make sure that she's throwing out that first. Because if she's throwing out her own versions of touches, that indicates that she's actually comfortable now with you in her space and possibly going a little bit further than just these, handholds and touches on the arms and stuff. Anyway, continuing, he says, however, she recently told me that she wasn't doing well and needed time to herself. Ooh, that's never good, because when women have a high interest in you, I take it back to the doc. I used to study this guy named Doc Love, RIP. And one of the things he always said was that interest level cuts everything. So a woman that has high interest in you, if she's not doing well, typically she's going to want you to be around as the person that's able to break her out of her shell or out of her thoughts and be able to get back to a place where she can take a break from whatever's going on. If she suddenly starts to distance herself, that's not really the best thing in the world. But I'll read on, okay? He says it's now, well, when he wrote this, it had been 11 days. It's been a week since he wrote this, so it's probably closer to like 22 days now. Sorry, guy, I was on a break. This is why I tell you guys, sign up for coaching. I can answer these questions a lot faster if you're really trying to figure out your situation. Anyway, he says, however, she recently told me that she wasn't doing well and needed time to herself. It's been 11 days since I've heard from her, and I'm unsure if it's over. Well, 11 days is not good. Like, I know you've probably seen the pull away test video where I talk about women that are pulling away. It's typically they need like a small break just to really either recalibrate, or maybe you're coming on too strong and they need time to see like how they really feel without your interference. So 11 days is a bit of a long time, but why is it 11 days? Let's figure out why, right? So he says, we went on dates once every 2 weeks. So that's the first problem, is that I tell you guys, you should be doing a minimum of 1 date a week until such time as she comes to you and says, hey, we should like go out a second or third time this week, preferably on a Friday or Saturday. So if you're doing every 2 weeks, it's very easy for there to be that lull that can cause her to start to feel less interested. But let's continue. Let's see. He says, when we were together, she touched me. So she reached out by grabbing my hand, holding it, and making strong eye contact. Well, that is a very good start. But you got to understand, right? Women's touches are typically going to be they're trying to give a read to you that they're ready for a stronger touch hold, right? Because of the two of you guys, unfortunately, women are going to have a worse reputation if they're trying to do all this strong touch initiation, because let's face it, in society, they'll be called SLUTs. They'll be called a little bit too loose or trying too hard. So they're going to do these touches that to us guys may seem like nothing. Oh, she held my hand, but that may just be all she wants to do. But no, these are touches that you read as, if she's initiating them, read them as, I'm really comfortable with you. I like being close to you. And hey, you know what? I'm open to this kind of touching and maybe a little bit stronger. So with touching, what you want to do is when she initiates touch, you want to do the same touch as she does. And then at some point, go just a little step further. And then when you go that little step further, one or two things will happen. Either she'll match what you just did, or she'll kind of gently be like, hey, and let you know that, hey, let's go back to the previous step. And then you stay at that step for a little bit longer and then try that next step again. And usually this is how the dance goes, where she'll touch you, you'll touch her, you'll do a little something extra. She might pull away a little bit, and then she'll suddenly want to do that touch. And then you do that same touch, and then you add something extra. And that's how you build up to being able to eventually get her in the bedroom, all right? But you got to be mindful of that, because if you're not, what you'll miss out on is thinking, well, this is all she wants to do, and I'm nervous. I don't want to scare her away by doing anything too strong beyond this. And then you could end up losing her because she's thinking, I opened up, I did the touch. Why isn't he responding with more touching or stronger touching? So anyway, he says, I also touched her and she was receptive to it. She knows that I can attract other women because of my good looks and is a bit insecure. Maybe she doesn't see a future with me because she thinks I'm not going to be serious and will leave her. Well, guys, it's only been 4 dates. I tell you guys, it takes women 2 to 3 months to solidify her feelings. So all you got to be doing during that time is asking for dates and seeing if she says yes. But this isn't the time where she's going to be envisioning a future, because she has to really build up enough trust and have enough evidence that you're the guy she wants. And that takes 2 to 3 months. So for you guys out there, if you go on 4 great dates, you're already hyped up. You're ready to hook up with her. You're thinking this is already the love of your life. And I keep telling you, she is not there yet. All right. So go with her timing as it pertains to trying to figure out like when she's actually planning a future with you and loving you and stuff like that. Continuing, he says she thinks I'm a player. And I did mention to her that I was dating other women, but was most interested in her. So I'll say this. This isn't necessarily a deal breaker, but it's also not something you need to do. Like if a woman, let's say you met a girl on a dating app and you've gone out like on 4 dates like this guy. And on date 5, she's like, hey, so are you seeing other women? Most guys think that that's a direct question that they want a direct answer to. Oh yeah, I'm dating other women, but I'm still, you're in the running. You don't have to be that direct. And I'm going to get more into that as we go along with the show. But for now, the proper answer you can give is this, is that you can say, hey, you know what? Well, right now we're still in the dating phase of things. So, I'm keeping my options open. Whether I choose to take those or not, it's a different story. But right now, my focus is on you and what we're doing right now. That way, that lets her know on some level that you could be seeing other people, but it's not a known fact. And that little bit of mystery, sad to say, that can keep them even more intrigued and think, because now they don't know like if they have competition or not and how hard the other competition is working to try to win you. But that'll make her think, okay, I got to stay on my P's and Q's and make sure that I'm doing everything I need to do. So this guy will choose me in the end if I also choose him. All right. But you don't have to be that direct and be like, oh yeah, I'm seeing 4 or 5 other chicks. Like none of you guys need to do that ever. And I know some guys think, well, but that's not being honest. Here's the thing, guy. It's a level of honesty that at this point in the dating game, she doesn't need to know about. In fact, I did a show a few weeks ago talking about the Bachelor, where he was like trying to tell the girl, hey, so just so you know, I hooked up with this other girl with the previous date. Oh my God. And her response was like, dude, it's the Bachelor. I know this is part of the process, but now you've made it real for me because you had to point it out. I already assumed stuff may or may not happen, but you pointing it out now makes me feel bad because now you're basically throwing that in my face and it's not taking into consideration my feelings. So women want to be left in the dark about that. Even if they ask, you trying to explicitly say how many people you're dating, it's not a necessary thing that's going to make her feel closer to you. So don't do it. Continuing, he says, can you help me figure out what went wrong? Also, this is key, guys. I thought that a kiss on the cheek, hands, and head was enough, along with holding hands. So I didn't go in for a kiss on the lips during any of the dates. Do you think this could be why things didn't progress further? Yes. And I say this as a man with experience, whereby I was in situations before with women where, I got to the point where I could touch their arm. I could even touch on their chest and, get really close and cuddle to them. But especially my college years, me trying to actually go in for a kiss on the lips was like the most frightening thing ever. And I lost a lot of women because I would be doing everything right up to this point where it's now a natural progression. This is the point where a kiss is inevitable. She's assuming that it's going to happen and it's not. So now you're doing what I used to do, which is, I'd go on the first date. Okay, I'm gonna wait till like date number 3 or date number 2. Second date, third date comes. I still couldn't muster up the courage to do it. And then I'm trying to call for date 4 and they don't want to go anymore. Now, to be completely fair, I have gone on dates where I kissed on the second date and the third date. And then after that, they were just like, hey, I'm not feeling it. That happens too. But I've had more success by going in for a kiss on the second and honestly, sometimes the first date than I have trying to be a gentleman and wait. Because while you're being a gentleman, she's thinking, A, she's sending you signals because she's touching you. She's reaching out to you with hand holding and looking in your eyes and probably looking at your lips if you're not paying attention. And also at that point, if she's said yes to 3 or 4 dates, she's thinking, this guy's got to know I like him on some level because I've said yes to 3 dates. Why isn't he making the move? Is he waiting for me to make the move? Which now makes her think that you're trying to make her wear the pants in the relationship. And women do not want to wear the pants in the relationship because they want their guy to lead. And that means leading the interactions with physical touch that are going to be more intense. This is why I say when she starts giving indicators of interest in doing that physical touch by holding your hand or laughing at your jokes or like leaning against your shoulder, that's her saying in a very passive way, hey, I now allow you in my space. Now it's your turn to decide where the next space is that going to be. And if you're not able to get out of your head and just go for the kiss, then yeah, head kissing is cool. Cheek kissing is okay, but it's not the bullseye. If you're not hitting the bullseye, then you're going to lose a lot of women. Now, you might be a guy that wants to wait. You might be a guy that's like, until we actually are in a relationship, then I want to make sure that I'm not doing anything physical to make her think that I'm that kind of guy or whatever like that. And that's a conversation. But if you're not having that conversation, you're just leaving women in the dark, then that's not fair to them. And you're going to lose out as a result. So hopefully, guy, this helps answer your question. Ultimately, you need to be a lot bolder, and that starts with being less anxious, being more confident, understanding the dynamics of what women are looking for in relationships and when they're dating. If you need help with that, go to introvertdatingsuccess.com, sign up for a one-on-one phone coaching call, and we can get that situated for you. All right?
What the French toast? What the French toast? Haters mad and they still trying to